Zaporizhzhia Oblast, September 18, 2024, 2:47 p.m. 6 Ukrainian soldiers assembled the Switchblade 600 loitering munition on a hilltop 15 kilometers from the front line. The target: a Russian command post identified by signals intelligence. Multiple officers, including a colonel commanding a reinforced battalion located in a fortified position 40 kilometers away. Traditional artillery couldn't reach it. HIMARS was needed elsewhere. Airstrikes were too risky with Russian air defense active. But Switchblade could do what none of those systems could: fly to the area, wait, watch, identify the right targets, and strike with precision, all autonomously if needed. The Ukrainian drone operator checked the mission parameters on his tablet. Target coordinates loaded. Loiter time, 40 minutes. Search pattern, programmed. Target profile, enemy personnel, and light vehicles. At 2:47 p.m., he pressed the launch button. The Switchblade's tube popped open. The drone shot into the air, wings deploying automatically. Within seconds, it was climbing to cruise altitude. This wasn't just a drone strike. This was a new kind of warfare. Weapons that hunt, wait, and kill on their own. The weapon: Switchblade 600. Manufacturer: AeroVironment, United States. Type: loitering munition, kamikaze drone. Classification: tactical missile system. Official Pentagon designation. The term loitering munition describes a weapon that combines characteristics of both drones and missiles. Launches like a missile. Flies like a drone. Can loiter, circle and wait over target area. Strikes like a missile when target identified. Specifications: weight, 23 kilograms. Complete system. Length, 1.3 meters, folded in launch tube. Wingspan, 3.2 meters, deployed. Speed, 110 km/h, cruise. 185 km/h, terminal attack. Range, 80 plus kilometers. Endurance, 40 minutes loiter time. Warhead: anti-armor tandem-shaped charge, comparable to Javelin missile. Guidance: electro-optical infrared camera with AI-assisted target recognition. Control: semi-autonomous. Operator can take control, or fully autonomous. Cost: $70,000 per unit. Capabilities: unlike traditional missiles that fly straight to coordinates and explode, Switchblade can circle target area for 40 minutes. Operator sees live video feed from drone camera. Can identify and select specific targets. Can abort attack and return or redirect to new target. Can operate autonomously if communications lost, AI mode. Unlike traditional reconnaissance drones, Switchblade is the weapon. It destroys itself on impact. One-way mission. Combines reconnaissance and strike in single platform. The revolutionary aspect: the weapon can think. AI-assisted target recognition allows Switchblade to distinguish between vehicles and personnel. Identify vehicle types, tank versus truck versus car. Recognize specific target profiles. Command vehicles have distinct signatures. Select highest value target autonomously. This creates a terrifying scenario for the enemy. A weapon hunting you, watching you, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and you can't see it, hear it, or stop it. The target. Russian command post, designated Objective Crimson by Ukrainian intelligence. Location. Abandoned collective farm building 3 kilometers behind Russian lines. Personnel. Estimated 15-20 officers and staff. Key individuals. Battalion commander, colonel controlling 800+ troops. 3 company commanders, majors, captains. Staff officers, operations, intelligence, logistics. Communication specialists. Vehicles. 3X command vehicles, modified MTLB with communications equipment. 2X UAZ trucks, transport. Value, extremely high. Battalion command post is nerve center of Russian operations in the sector. Destroying it would decapitate command structure, disrupt ongoing operations, force time-consuming reorganization, damage Russian morale. Ukrainian intelligence had tracked this command post for 2 weeks using signals intelligence, intercepted radio communications, satellite imagery, drone reconnaissance, human intelligence from partisans. The intelligence was solid. The target was confirmed. Now came the strike. The flight. 2:47 p.m. Launch. Switchblade 600 launched from tube with compressed air ejection, quiet, no smoke signature. Wings deployed. Electric motor engaged. The drone climbed to 300 meters altitude and turned toward target coordinates 40 kilometers away. Flight time at 110 km/h, approximately 22 minutes. The Ukrainian operator monitored the flight via satellite data link. His screen showed drone camera feed, forward-looking view, map with drone position and target location. Telemetry data, speed, altitude, battery level, time remaining. At 3:09 p.m., 22 minutes after launch, Switchblade reached the target area. The hunt. The operator commanded Switchblade to begin its search pattern. Orbit the target coordinates at 400-meter radius, 300-meter altitude, scanning for targets below. The drone's camera swept across the terrain. Fields, empty. Tree line, no movement. Farm buildings, possible location. Vehicles, stationary, covered. At 3:12 p.m., the operator spotted movement near one of the buildings. He zoomed the camera. 3 Russian soldiers standing outside smoking cigarettes. Not the target. The objective was officers, not enlisted troops. He continued scanning. At 3:15 p.m., movement near the command vehicles. A figure in different uniform, officer insignia visible. The operator zoomed in. The resolution was sufficient to identify. Russian Army major, likely a company commander. Good target, but the colonel was the priority. The operator noted the major's position and continued scanning. At 3:19 p.m., multiple figures emerged from the main building. The operator counted 7 individuals, officer uniforms, engaged in conversation. He zoomed to maximum magnification. One figure, center of the group, older, more ornate uniform, was giving instructions to others. Battalion commander, the colonel. Target acquired. But the group was standing in the open near a vehicle. If they entered the building or dispersed, the opportunity would be lost. The operator made the call, "Strike now." He designated the target by clicking on the colonel's figure. The AI confirmed target selection with a green box around the individual. The operator pressed Engage. The strike. At 3:20 p.m., Switchblade transitioned from loiter mode to terminal attack mode. The drone climbed to 500 meters, positioned itself directly above the target group, and dove. Terminal attack speed, 185 km/h. Dive angle, 60 degrees, nearly vertical. Time from dive initiation to impact, 9 seconds. The Russian officers had no warning. Switchblade is small, quiet, approaching from directly overhead, nearly impossible to detect with human senses. At 3:20:09 p.m., Switchblade struck the colonel directly. The anti-armor warhead detonated on impact. The shaped charge, designed to penetrate tank armor, struck a human target. The explosion killed the colonel instantly. The officers standing within 3 meters were killed by fragmentation and blast. Those within 5 meters were wounded. Casualty assessment based on post-strike reconnaissance. Colonel, killed instantly, primary target eliminated. 2 majors, killed. 3 captains, 2 killed, 1 critically wounded. 1 lieutenant, wounded. Total, 5 killed, 2 wounded. The Russian battalion's command staff was devastated. The impact, immediate. The surviving Russian personnel at the command post descended into chaos. 3:20 p.m., confusion. Officers killed, survivors wounded or in shock. No one understood what happened. No incoming artillery, no airstrike warning, just an explosion. 3:25 p.m. Medics attempted to treat wounded. Communications specialist tried to report to higher command but was incoherent, couldn't explain what had occurred. 3:35 p.m. Senior surviving officer, a captain, attempted to assume command. He was a logistics officer not trained for tactical command. 3:45 p.m. Russian units under battalion command began reporting to the command post for orders. The improvised command structure couldn't provide coherent direction. 4:15 p.m. Russian divisional command, realizing battalion command had collapsed, attempted to establish new command structure. This required identifying surviving officers, transferring authority, relocating command post. The current location was compromised. For 6 to 8 hours, the Russian battalion operated without effective command. The impact, tactical. The immediate consequences for Russian military operations. 1. Ongoing operations. Halted. The battalion had been preparing an assault for the next morning. Without command coordination, the operation was canceled. 2. Defensive posture. Weakened. Individual companies received no guidance. Some withdrew to more defensive positions, assuming they were under attack. This created gaps in Russian lines. 3. Logistics disrupted. The logistics officer who assumed temporary command had no knowledge of tactical situation. Supply convoys were delayed or misdirected. 4. Communications. Breakdown. The command post's communications equipment was damaged in the explosion. Even when new officers arrived, they couldn't effectively coordinate. Ukrainian forces monitoring Russian communications recognized the chaos and launched limited probing attacks. Russian responses were uncoordinated. allowing Ukrainians to identify weaknesses. Estimated impact. Ukrainian forces recaptured 2.3 square kilometers over the next 48 hours, while Russian command structure was disorganized. The impact. Psychological. Beyond tactical effects, the Switchblade strike created profound psychological impact on Russian forces. Immediate fear. Russian officers realized they could be killed at any time, anywhere, by a weapon they couldn't see or hear. Within days, intercepted Russian communications revealed officers refusing to gather in groups, fear of being targeted, command posts relocating every few hours, fear of being identified and struck, senior officers refusing to move in identifiable vehicles, general paranoia about being watched. One intercepted communication, Russian major to his subordinate. Don't call me on the command frequency. Don't identify me as an officer on radio. I've seen what those American drones do. I'm not getting killed because you're careless with communications security. Strategic fear. Russian command recognized that Ukrainian forces now possessed weapons that could strike anywhere, at any time, without warning. Traditional countermeasures, air defense, electronic warfare, camouflage, were partially effective but couldn't eliminate the threat entirely. The psychological calculus changed. Every time Russian officers gathered for planning, every time they moved in identifiable vehicles, every time they used radios, they risked being targeted by weapons that could be already circling overhead, waiting. The economics. Ukrainian investment. 1X Switchblade, $670,000. Training for operators, $10,000 amortized. Intelligence collection, satellites, drones, signals, $5,000 allocated to this mission. Total, $85,000. Russian losses. War Colonel, years of training, irreplaceable experience. Invaluable. 4 field-grade officers, majors, captains, 15 to 20 years combined experience. 2 officers wounded, months of recovery. Command post damaged, $500,000 equipment. Operational effectiveness degraded, immeasurable. Psychological impact on all Russian officers, immeasurable. From pure cost perspective, $85,000 eliminated a battalion-level command structure and caused operational disruption worth millions. From strategic perspective, the impact exceeded the cost by orders of magnitude. The second strike, multiple targets. The September 18th strike was one of dozens conducted with Switchblade systems. Ukrainian forces developed doctrine for hunter-killer operations using Switchblade. Operation Profile. 1. Intelligence. Identify high-value target, officers, equipment, command posts. 2. Launch. Deploy 2 to 6 Switchblades to target area. 3. Search. Drones loiter, scanning for specific targets. 4. Strike. Engage highest value target available. 5. Battle damage. Assessment. Use other drones or satellites to confirm results. Multiple Switchblades could be launched to same area, increasing probability of finding and destroying targets. Example operation, October 3, 2024. Target area, Russian logistics hub, 35 kilometers behind lines. Assets deployed, 4-year Switchblade, 600. Mission duration, 90 minutes. 3 drones loitered while 1 struck, then others engage subsequent targets. Results: Drone 1 destroyed fuel truck, secondary explosion damaged 3 other vehicles. Drone 2 destroyed ammunition truck, massive secondary explosion. Drone 3 killed group of officers inspecting damaged area. Drone 4 destroyed command vehicle attempting to leave area. Total Russian losses: 8 vehicles destroyed, 12 plus personnel killed. Logistics hub rendered non-operational for 48 hours. Total Ukrainian cost: $280,000 for drones. The Russian response: Russian forces attempted countermeasures. Countermeasure 1: Electronic warfare. Deploy jamming systems to disrupt Switchblade communications. Effectiveness: partial. Switchblade has encrypted satellite data link that's resistant to basic jamming. However, advanced jamming could disrupt control. Solution: Switchblade's autonomous mode. If communications lost, the drone continues its mission using AI target recognition. It doesn't need human operator to find and strike targets. Countermeasure 2: Air defense. Use existing air defense systems, Panzer Tor, to shoot down Switchblades. Effectiveness: limited. Switchblade is small, 3-meter wingspan, low flying and slow moving. Not an optimal target for systems designed to engage fast aircraft and missiles. Additionally, air defense radar has difficulty detecting small drones among ground clutter. Some Switchblades were shot down, but interception rate was estimated at only 20–30%. Countermeasure 3: Dispersal and deception. Avoid concentrating high-value targets. Use decoys. Relocate frequently. Effectiveness: high. This was the most effective countermeasure. Don't give Switchblade worthwhile targets. However, this created its own problems. Dispersed command is less efficient. Frequent relocation is exhausting and time-consuming. Deception requires resources. Even when successful, the countermeasure degraded Russian operational effectiveness, which was part of Ukraine's goal. Countermeasure 4: Time pressure. Switchblade has 40-minute endurance. If Russian personnel can stay under cover for 40+ minutes after detecting launch, the drone will run out of battery and crash harmlessly. Effectiveness requires detecting launch, difficult, and having immediate access to cover, not always possible. Additionally, Ukrainian tactics involved launching multiple Switchblades in sequence, creating continuous threat. The proliferation. Switchblade 600 is part of a larger family. Switchblade 300, smaller version. Weight: 5.5 kilo. Range: 90 km. Warhead: anti-personnel, similar to hand grenade. Use: tactical, squad-level operations. Cost: $6,000. Switchblade 600, medium version. As described above. Use: operational, battalion-level operations. Future development. Longer endurance, 60–90 minutes. Larger warheads, anti-tank, anti-structure. Improved AI, better target recognition. Swarm capability, multiple drones coordinating autonomously. Other countries developing similar systems. Israel: Harap, Harpy, loitering munitions. China: various models copying Western designs. Iran, Shahed 136, used by Russia against Ukraine. Turkey, Kargu, STM. The technology is proliferating rapidly. Within 5 to 10 years, most militaries will have loitering munitions. The ethical questions. Switchblade raises profound ethical questions about autonomous weapons. Question 1. Should weapons be allowed to select and engage targets autonomously? Current reality. Switchblade can operate in autonomous mode, using AI to identify and strike targets without human approval. Concern? What if AI makes mistakes? What if it identifies civilians as valid targets? Counter-argument. AI can be more precise than humans. It doesn't get tired, emotional, or make snap decisions. It can analyze targets carefully before engaging. Ukrainian doctrine. Switchblade is used primarily in semi-autonomous mode. AI assists in target identification, but human operator makes final decision to strike. Fully autonomous mode is backup if communication's lost. Question 2. Does this lower the threshold for using lethal force? Concern. If strikes are easy, just launch a drone and let it hunt, commanders might authorize attacks more readily. Counter-argument. Every strike still requires intelligence, planning, and authorization. The ease of execution doesn't change the decision calculus. Question 3. What about proliferation to bad actors? Concern. If terrorists or rogue states acquire loitering munitions, they could conduct assassinations or terror attacks. Reality. This is already happening. Iranian-designed Shahed 136 drones are essentially loitering munitions used by Russia against Ukrainian cities. The technology exists. It will spread. The question isn't whether to develop it. The question is how to regulate its use. The future of warfare. Switchblade represents a fundamental shift in how wars are fought. From expensive, precision-guided missiles fired at known coordinates, to cheap, autonomous weapons that hunt for targets over wide areas. From human decision-making for every strike, to AI-assisted or fully autonomous target selection. From large visible weapon systems, artillery, aircraft, to small, quiet, invisible threats that can strike anywhere. From warfare, conducted by professionals with expensive equipment, to warfare, where cheap drones make every soldier, officer, and vehicle vulnerable. The battlefield is becoming more lethal, more unpredictable, and more psychologically taxing. Traditional military advantages, better tanks, more artillery, air superiority, matter less when a $70,000 drone can kill your highest-ranking officers. This is asymmetric warfare at its peak. Small investments creating disproportionate effects. The human element. Behind every Switchblade strike is a human operator making life and death decisions. One Ukrainian Switchblade operator described his experience. I watch through the drone's camera. I see Russian soldiers, real people, moving, talking, living. Then I designate one as the target. I press a button. The drone dives. 9 seconds later, that person is dead. It's strange. I'm 15 kilometers away, safe, comfortable. They never saw me. Never had a chance to fight back. I killed them with a button press. Sometimes I think about their families. But then I remember, those officers command troops killing Ukrainians. They planned the artillery strikes that destroy our cities. They're not innocent. Still, it's strange. This is what war looks like now. Clean, remote, efficient. But people still die. That hasn't changed. The colonel's family. The Russian colonel killed in the September 18th strike was later identified through social media. His family posted a memorial, wife, 2 children, ages 9 and 12, elderly parents. In the memorial, they described him as a patriot serving his country and a loving father taken too soon. From Ukrainian perspective, he was a legitimate military target commanding forces attacking Ukraine. From his family's perspective, he was a father and husband whose life ended suddenly. War's complexity. Both perspectives are valid. Neither eliminates the reality of death. The strategic assessment. As of December 2024, Switchblade has been used in Ukraine for approximately 18 months. Estimated results. 200+ Switchblade strikes conducted. 150+ high-value targets eliminated, officers' equipment. Unknown number of Russian casualties. Russia doesn't acknowledge specific losses. Psychological impact on Russian command structure, significant. Western military observers' conclusion. Loitering munitions like Switchblade are highly effective force multipliers. They provide capabilities previously requiring much more expensive systems: helicopters, artillery, airstrikes. Russian military assessment based on intercepted communications. Switchblade is a serious threat to command personnel and difficult to counter effectively. The technology works, it's changing warfare, and it's not going away. This is the war the world doesn't see. 2:47 in the afternoon. Launch tube pops open. Drone climbs. 40 minutes of hunting, 9 seconds of diving, 1 officer dead. Command structure destroyed, where artificial intelligence meets real warfare, where $70,000 eliminates $1 million in military capability, where weapons think, wait, and kill. Military fight, where breaking news meets real combat operations. The future of war is here, small, quiet, autonomous, lethal. And every officer on every battlefield now knows something might be watching, waiting, hunting. Subscribe. Stay informed. Because the next Switchblade strike could be happening right now. And you won't hear about it on mainstream news.